My name is Tuli Zialala and welcome to my YouTube channel. Yes, you heard right. This is my YouTube channel, simply titled Good Vibes with Tuli. Sure, the year 2020 for me has been a year of growth, a year of making bold moves, and a year of great change. I don't think my life will ever be the same going forward. I've made a lot of amazing changes and decisions that will change the course of my life forever. One of the things that I did earlier on this year was resign from my full-time job of 5 years in the pursuit of my dreams and my true passion. And then later on in the month of April, the 3rd of April to be exact, I turned 30, and that is a new decade for me. However, it was under a weird, confusing time right at the beginning of lockdown, and no one knew what the future held in store. I think that in a more beautiful sense, that's when the most creative and the most amazing ideas come, when we are not so sure of our journey and our direction. And it's where we really tap into ourselves and we ask, who am I and why am I here? And I think that this YouTube channel is a result of really introspecting and having a time of really understanding what my true purpose in life is. Before I continue, I'd like to thank you first of all for joining me, and I'm very excited for sharing this journey along with you and sharing my ideas and sharing my values and sharing some of the things that have influenced and helped me along the journey to where we are right now. I'd like to put a disclaimer out there and say that all the ideas, all the views, all the opinions that are shared on this channel, Good Vibes with Utuli, do not in any way represent or speak on the behalf of a specific group or community. I think that all the ideas that are shared here are by Good Vibes with Utuli, and there are also ideas and views and opinions that are shared by Tuli Zialala. So welcome once again. I'm very excited to share this journey with you. And with any journey in life, one is never an island. I think that there are people that you come across that support you, that guide you, that really see more than what you see in yourself. And I'd like to acknowledge a couple of people. There are many people that have helped me along my journey, but there are 3 specific people that I'd like to acknowledge, recognize, and say thank you. These people in the past 6 to 8 months of me being to where I am right now have played such a pivotal role in pushing me beyond my physical reality. They see so much potential in me and they did not give up on me. If anything, they were my go-to people when I was scared, when I wasn't sure, when I felt like, Tuli, this move, this decision you're about to make, sure, there's just no way. So the first person I'd like to thank is my dear friend, Umpumelelo. I call him Mpumi. Some of you guys may know him as Fraipan. Thank you so much, Mpumi, for your friendship. That's one. Thank you for your patience as well. Thank you for being my go-to person when I needed advice, when I wasn't sure if the decision I was making made sense, but you always listened to what I had to say and you always gave me advice that really made sense to me, and I can always be myself. Just to put it out there and just to put some credit on Mpumi. Mpumi was the person who approached me. Mpumi has his own podcast series, The Mayor's Office, and he was the one who approached me with the idea of introducing SASL interpreting, South African Sign Language interpreting, to podcasts. So I'd like to take the credit and think that I'm the first person to come up with this idea. But no, actually Mpumi, my dear friend, is the true pioneer and the true genius behind this collaboration and this concept of introducing an SASL interpreter to podcasts. So thank you so much, Mpumi, and I'm so excited about our friendship and our journey going forward. The second person I'd like to acknowledge is my mentor and my friend, Her name is Stacy Wallenberger. Stacy is extremely hard on me. She is one of the toughest people in my life. She pushes me beyond my limits because she believes in me so much. And I don't think I'd be where I am right now if it wasn't for her. She's very objective in her thinking, but she also doesn't give up on me. I know that even though she's gonna give me a tough conversation, I always go back for her because I trust her. And I think that's what mentors do. Mentors are not supposed to be your friends. Mentors are supposed to push you beyond your physical comfort, and they see beyond what you think you can do. So I'd really want to thank you, Stacy. And this YouTube channel actually is dedicated to you, and I will not let you down. There's so many things that I'm going to show you, and I need you so much. So thank you so much. The third group of people that I'd like to thank and acknowledge is cliffcentral.com. As you guys may know, that I am a South African Sign Language interpreter, an SASL interpreter, and something that I'm really proud of that changed the course of my life earlier on this year was becoming the first ever SASL interpreter to interpret a podcast in South Africa. And the online digital platform that I collaborated with was cliffcentral.com. And we're so proud to say that this first ever collaboration just changed the course of my life, and it just changed the way that we view content and the possibilities out there. So I'd like to thank cliffcentral.com. I'd like to thank Taylor Blinds and Shutters, and I'd like to thank the team for believing in me and taking a risk on me. And I think that as a result of that, I'd have this YouTube channel as an extension of my views and as an extension of what I believe in, and trying to see how far I can take this. So I'd like to thank the team, and one person in particular that comes to mind is the station manager, Greg Cohen. Thank you, Greg, so much for the back and forth, the communication, the emails, just understanding where I come from and giving my wild ideas a chance. Thank you for being open-minded, and you definitely, and your team has definitely contributed to my being here today and being proud to say that now I own a YouTube channel simply titled Good Vibes with Utuli. So thank you to all the people that have contributed positively to my life. It's not just the three. I think that there's friends and family. There's so many other people that really have helped me along the way. They're too many to mention. However, these top three are the ones that really stand out and that I really would like to acknowledge going forward. So this YouTube channel, what is it about? So this YouTube channel really is an extension of who I am. I'd really like to use this platform to tell you more about who I am, the things that I believe in, my values. I'd like to talk about leadership. I'd like to talk about mentorship. I'd like to touch on my family, about business. I'm passionate about business, and even touch on spirituality. All of these things have really inspired me and have helped me along my journey to make informed decisions. And I hope that whoever's tuning in right now will also be inspired wherever they are to empower themselves and to also make informed decisions that will also take their life to new heights. I think also another thing is that someone may ask, but truly, why do you want to start a YouTube channel? And my simple answer to that would be, why not? Why can't I start my YouTube channel? Why can't I have a platform with my name on it, with me presenting, with me interpreting, with me being involved, being hands-on in the creative process to making this production a reality? And I think it's part of just challenging the status quo. I think that in life, there's so many boundaries and limitations that we allow other people to put on our lives because they decided that they don't want to do certain things, or in their mind or in their life, some things are just not possible. And I think that this YouTube channel and this year and my life is just a testament, a true testament that anything is possible, that you don't have to limit or live your life according to what other people say. You can do, you can be, you can have, you can create anything that you really want to. Whatever you put your mind to, whatever you're passionate about, you really can do it. I think it's important as well to surround yourself with people who believe in you. The people that I mentioned earlier on have been pivotal to the decisions that I've made to where we are right now. I think this YouTube channel is also about rewriting the rules and just pushing the boundaries of what the possibilities are. So I think that as opposed to being conformed to what other people believe who I am and what I can do, I'm gonna put myself out there and live my life according to what I think is good for me, what I think is true to me, and what I think my true life calling is and my purpose in life is. So this is really a response to my beliefs and my true introspection over the past couple of weeks and months as to why. And the simple response is, why not? Something else that I'd like to include in this YouTube channel, as you all know that I mentioned that I am the first person in South Africa to interpret a podcast, SASL podcast. We had a pilot episode of Blind History, a popular podcast series called Blind History that's sponsored by Taylor Blinds and Shutters with cliffcentral.com. And this channel is an extension of that. So podcasts are still true to me. I love podcasts. I think podcasts and content is so important in terms of informing us and making sure that we are aware of what's going on. I'd like to feature some of the content and content producers and podcasters on my channel. So another concept that I'd like to introduce is having short snippets of other podcasters, prominent podcasters that I listen to on a range of topics, ranging from business and creativity and young people, and I'd like to feature them on my channel. One thing that you guys can expect going forward is that as I speak and as I present anything that is discussed, so it's going to be me speaking, but what I'm also going to include and what my team and myself have included is having subtitles. I'm sure you guys can see here. We've got subtitles and we've also got an interpreter box as well. So with the usual interpreter traditional box, we've changed that. We are pushing the boundaries. We're changing and challenging thinking. We actually are going to introduce a circle. We think that a circle is different. And I think this is about trying out new things and seeing whether or not they work. So this is part of what you're going to expect going forward, that our channel is going to include featured content of other prominent content producers and other podcasters. And we hope that with this information and having access to information in different forms, whether it's subtitles or through an SSL interpreter, we can have a wider reach and content and information can be more accessible and inclusive to anyone listening, watching, or reading out there, and give them a complete 360 experience of what information in the new age should be like. One thing that I'd like to talk about that has been so close to my heart, and I think this is a fascinating concept for me, is the concept of building. I think lately, even on my social media posts, I talk about building. How do you build a dream? How do you build an empire? How do you build a vision? And how do you turn your dreams into reality? And I think that just like, when you build a building, or when you build an office, or when you've got a plan in mind, there's always something written down on paper. You always have like a blueprint, some kind of pattern, some kind of measurement, some kind of scope of what you want this idea in your mind to become in the physical reality. And that's what I'd like to compare my dreams, my vision, to some extent even this YouTube channel. Everything that I've achieved this year is sort of like me building my dreams and building my reality into what I see every day. So I think that building all the time includes an architect. There has to be someone in charge of this idea and this concept, and it has to be written down on paper. I think that in my life, I'm the builder of my life. I'm the architect. I'm the one responsible for the decisions. I'm the one who builds daily, moment by moment, consciously making sure that what I think, what I dream, what I desire, what I feel, all of these things are valid. But now the only difference is that instead of writing it on a piece of paper and sticking it up on a wall, I'm sure some people who know my place and have come around, when they come into my house and my bedroom, my wall is jam-packed with papers and posters of my dreams and my visions and my goals and my prayers and my affirmations. And the difference is that it can always be on paper, but there has to come a time when it has to be made into a reality. And that's the thing. How do you turn your dreams into reality? How does this feeling of having this paper turn into your real life reality? And I think this is the concept of building. And the people that I've also mentioned earlier on are people that I really look up to. I've watched how they build and how they've built their lives, their institutions, their brands. And I'm so fascinated. I've asked questions, I've made notes, I've asked for help, and I've watched them over the years just see how they've grown. And I've also applied the same principles along with them. So I think going forward, I just like to encourage everyone to build. So don't be afraid of building, and dream and build big. The only thing about building is that it needs consistency. I'm learning that as well. It's the same thing. It's a routine. You do it over and over again. It's nothing exciting. It's quite monotonous, really, honestly. But it's that discipline of making sure that, I'm committed to finish this project. No matter what happens, I'm not going to give up. And I'd like to encourage everyone out there who has a dream, who has a vision, who has a passion, who has an idea, no matter how crazy or how out there your idea may seem, just start. Start one step at a time, write it down on paper, have a blueprint, have a plan. What do you want for your life? And then slowly watch other people. If there are other role models that you've seen or that you know who are doing what you'd like to do, approach them, ask questions, and learn from them, and then apply the same principles and build that for you. I think that has helped me, and this is the result of me coming up with some of the amazing things that I've desired, and I'm building as a result. So this is not the end. I think that going forward there are lots of other exciting things that we're going to build, and I'm so excited to collaborate with people who are like-minded, and we're going to build together to make sure that we influence our communities, our societies, and the world, I guess, the greater world, for a positive, more change, making sure that we push humanity forward. So that's just my ideas about building. I think that going forward with this channel, with this YouTube channel, Good Vibes with Utuli, what one can expect is more of this inspiring insight of who Utuli is. I'm so happy and excited to share my in-depth journey of my ideas and my feelings, and the people that have really been, pivotal and playing a role in helping me just decide major things in my life. What we're hoping to do is have an episode a week. We're going to drop an episode a week, and I'm very excited because it's going to be something that is true to me, a topic, a theme that is close to my heart. And what we're going to do is supplement it and also partner it up and feature a prominent content producer or a podcaster, and that information and that content will be included with subtitles and an SASL interpreter. So that's it for me today. Today's feature is an interview that I did earlier on. It was an interview with SAFM. It was my first radio interview actually, and I think as an introduction to who I am and as the first episode of the series, I think it's prominent and I think it's pertinent as well to have this, just for you to get an understanding of who I am and my journey, my career as well, and what the vision is going forward. So I'm really, really excited. I'd like you guys to please watch, please subscribe to the channel, please like it, please share the link, and please give us your feedback and your comments. Your feedback and your comments is so important in helping us improve and to get better. So thank you so much. I'd also like to just acknowledge Mav Inc., the amazing person and the amazing team behind this YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Mav. And that's all for me for today. More channels and more information going forward next week. Thank you.
Us now to speak to Lizzie Galala, sign language interpreter, and she has just become the first person in the country to do a sign language podcast. To find out more about this, as one of the only 11 interpreters in South Africa who are accredited with the South African Translation Institute, Thuli is passionate about finding creative ways of making the language and skill accessible to a wider audience. Thuli, hi, thank you very much for joining us. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Bongi. Hello to the listeners as well.
Okay, so I see you did this year's Sona in February. You've done a lot of TV gigs and all those things. Is it frightening when you have to do when you have to do it live? Is it exciting? Is it challenging? Do you think about all sorts of things and the number of people who are watching what you're doing? What goes through your mind?
That's a fantastic question, Bongi. Absolutely. So with live TV, it's not the same as pre-recorded. There is a certain level of stress levels that you must cope with. So it is frightening, but I'm always up for the challenge. It is frightening, yes. I think it's also important to have a co-interpreter to support you and to guide you along the way. Teamwork is the best.
Yeah, because we only see you on television, but there is somebody who is also seated there who's perhaps assisting you and filling in the gaps.
Absolutely. So we call that person a co-interpreter, a feeder. And usually for me, I've been fortunate because that person for the Sona was a lady called Selma Gutierrez. She is my mentor, and she was very supportive, and she guided me all the way.
Yeah. You've got to have a certain IQ and a certain level of general knowledge, because you may not necessarily be au fait with the topic, but you've got to have some understanding of what is going on. For instance, if you're doing the Sona, you must be able to understand the politics, the economy, and all sorts of things.
Yes, absolutely, Wongi. Without being too arrogant, I think that interpreters are one of the most intelligent people around. We have a wealth of knowledge and we are open to learning a lot of information about different topics. You need to be on the ball all the time. However, if you do find yourself in a situation where you're not so sure, preparation is key. It's better to be over-prepared and to know more than to rock up at a place or a situation where you're not sure and you cause a disservice to the people that you're serving.
Yeah. And another thing, I mean, we'll come to the podcast right now. I'm just fascinated. I've never spoken to a sign language interpreter, so pardon me for a moment there.
No problem.
Because we've got so many languages in our country, official languages, and you find that, people right in the middle of the speech, they switch and they use another language. Do you have to be multilingual yourself and understand many languages, or at that time, if it's a language that you don't understand, you step down and perhaps ask your co-interpreter to come on?
Sure. So we've got different strategies that you could use. So South Africa is a beautiful country. We are a melting pot of cultures, races. I think we are a very beautiful country. So a part of it is also knowing the setting and the brief. So you need to do your homework and do your research. It's based on previous situations, but you can also have a co-interpreter to help you. So if you're not sure what may come up, your co-interpreter is there to help you. But honestly, and I'm also saying this to myself, that the more languages you know, the better. It prepares you for any situation that may come, and you can switch into any situation and you can adapt to the setting accordingly.
What interested you into taking up a sign language interpretation?
I must be honest with you, Wongi. I can't say that I knew that this was the plan. So I studied at Wits University. My major was psychology, and I had to choose a second major, and I was fascinated with SASL, South African Sign Language. I found it very fascinating. I didn't know much about it, and only to find that I was good at it. I worked very hard from the bottom up. I learned the language, and I became fluent in the language, and that's when I learned the skill of interpreting. So you first have to learn the language, be fluent in any language that you want to pursue, and then learn the skill of interpreting. So I think it's just being curious and fearing the things that you don't know. You usually fear, so you overcome the fear by learning and approaching that with more knowledge and experience.
Yeah. Talk to us now about the podcast, the sign language podcast. It becomes the first one, or you become the first person in the country to do that.
Absolutely, Bongi. It's the first of its kind. So I love podcasts. I listen to podcasts all the time. I think because we are becoming more digital, podcasts afford us the ability and the freedom to listen to content whenever we want to, and you've got the ability to choose the content on the specific device that you want to. So I listen to a range of topics like entrepreneurship, young people doing amazing things. And it hit me later on that, wow, this is a wealth of knowledge that is not available to my immediate community that I'm so invested in? How is it that we can make podcasts content more inclusive and accessible to a wider audience? And I think that's when I had the boldness to actually approach a prominent online digital platform to propose the idea. And I was actually very fortunate that they took a risk on me and we went ahead and did it.
Wow. So you've chosen that particular subject matter, but going forward, then it needs to be sustainable. How are you going to go about it? Are you going to be approaching companies and different companies and different broadcast houses to say, look, let's put this content online, because people need to engage with it beyond just the broadcast?
Absolutely. So as a visionary, Bongi, the good and the bad thing is that when you see things before other people do, people don't understand what you're trying to propose. And at first they're skeptical, they don't get it. So as a pioneer, I have to be the one who is in the forefront, trying to explain and educate people about the awareness of making content accessible. One strategy is approaching absolutely content producers, podcasters, collaborating with brands and making sure that their content, a wealth of knowledge that needs to get out there, is accessible, and we use our skills to solve problems in creative ways. That is part of the strategy. I can do a lot. Yes.
This is what the government must support, I tell you. So where do we find your work?
You can find me on Instagram. My handle is @Thuli_Zigalala. LinkedIn is the same, Thuli Zigalala, and all the links for my information, my videos are found in my bio.
Okay, we're going to go look it up, and perhaps if you can podcast this interview, parts of it, let's see what we can do in collaboration. I'm loving it. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.